Herbs are awesome and they're a brilliant way of really making your cooking a bit more special. So today I'm going to show you how to take cuttings of rosemary and sage and show you how to use them in a way to really transform your meals. So spring is a great time to take herb cuttings when the wood is nice and soft and you take it off the new growth. So here I'm going to take some quite long ones. You want them to be at least 4 to 5 to 6 inches long. So then you'd actually strip off more of these leaves so there's less energy going into all the foliage and all the energy can go into creating roots. So you can either put them in water and wait for them to produce roots out of the end, or you can put them into some nice well-drained potting compost with a bit of grit in there. Here's some lovely rosemary, and we don't really want to take the stuff that's in flower. These are sort of more hardwoody ones really, because it's quite early in the season for fresh growth, but they'll all work. Take that one. There we go, so nice long ones, and what I'll do is strip those bottom leaves off. I love the smell of it. It just looks great. It's evergreen, which is fantastic in a garden. It's really important to keep cutting it back, otherwise it goes woody. So the more you use it, the better. It's really easy to do this, so I'm just going to show you. I've got some potting compost here. Try not to use peat-based if you can. It's not a real no-no. And I'm mixing it with sort of half and half with some horticultural grit or sand. So it's really nice and free drained. These are all Mediterranean plants and they don't like being sat in a bog. So I'm putting them into a pot and then I'm just going to strip the leaves off the bottom of this and put them into the pot around the edge, and then you just water it. Don't overwater it, but don't let it dry out. It should take about 6 to 8 weeks before you've got roots on them. Sometimes it will take a bit longer. The other way of doing it is to actually just put some stems into a jar, like so, and fill it up with water. And you'll probably find you get some roots on the bottom of that after 6 to 8 weeks as well. So I've pre-weighed out some salt. This is coarse salt, but you can use a fine salt as well. 50 grams of salt and 9 to 10 grams of rosemary here. And I've stripped the rosemary leaves off the stalk. Chop it up a little bit with my knife to get it a bit finer before we put it in the grinder. I am no chef, so I don't have great chopping skills, but it doesn't matter. So now I'm going to put this in the grinder with the salt, and it's going to make a horrible noise. Look at that. It's such a great colour. So I'm just laying it out on this greaseproof paper so it can dry out a bit because it's quite moist, maybe over 24 hours or something. And then you can just put it in a very clean jar and seal it with the top. And it will keep for up to a month. You don't need to keep it in the fridge, it can just be anywhere. So yeah, this is great to use with lamb if you're not vegetarian. You can make exactly the same salt with sage, cook down some squash and put a fried egg on top and sprinkle some of this salt on top, and that would make a really delicious breakfast. Finally, I'm going to show you how to make a herb butter. And this time we're going to use sage, but you could use rosemary or basil or parsley or anything you want to. So again, I'm going to strip the leaves off the stalk. So this is 10 grams of sage and just under 100 grams of butter. So I'm going to grind these up in the grinder now. So it's very dark green. Now I'm going to pop these in the food processor. You could pop it into a soup. You could add some grated garlic and a bit of flaked salt and put it on toast, so you've got a nice garlic butter toast. You can use on corn on the cob. You can just put some on some vegetables. You can make garlic bread or even add it into mashed potato. You know, you can use it in all sorts of ways, really. I love that. It's really good. That would be great with a a nice soup on the side, a squash soup on the side or something, and a little bit of that butter put into the soup as well, I think. Really good. If there's anything else you'd like to see us talk about, cook or prepare, leave us a message in the comments below. Stay tuned for more weekly veg hacks.